Guy Fawkes.
How to make a bell. Don't see too many bell foundries these days, but there is a very famous foundry in East London called the Whitechapel Bell Foundry, and that's where Big Ben was made. To make a bell, you make a mould for the inside and a mould for the outside. Then you clamp those two moulds together and you pour hot liquid metal in the space in between. When the metal cools, that's a bell. Everyone must get the work exactly exact and precisely precise. If anyone makes a mistake, our bell will be wonky. Watch this. Here's the workshop at the Whitechapel Bell Foundry. Here's Mohammed. He's making loam for our mould. It's kind of like baking. He follows a recipe and mixes the ingredients. Instead of eggs and flour, he uses horsehair and sand and clay and recycled loam and manure. Then he scoops it into the mixer and adds water. When the loam is ready, he bakes some of it into bricks. He'll cut those bricks into smaller chunks. Then he'll scratch the flat edges so the loam will stick to them. Charles is making the inner mould for our bell. The inner mould is called the core. He uses special curved bricks and wet loam and loam bricks, and he builds it up layer by layer. See that? He's using this drill to check his mould. See how he flings the loam? That removes the air bubbles. Otherwise, the core will break when it's dried in the oven. It's a dirty job, but little by little, the core rises up. When the core is finished, they'll put it in the oven to harden it. They coat the core with graphite. They do this so the bell metal will not stick to the mould. Using the exact same stricker, Brian makes the outer mould. The outer mould is called the cope. He flings the loam at the mould and checks it with the stricker. It's back-breaking, but little by little the cope builds up inside the metal shell. See those grooves? Those will be ridges around the outside of our bell. Out comes the stricker. When the outer mould is ready, they'll bake that in the oven. Then it's ready for the inscription. Nigel will add an inscription to our bell, probably Whitechapel Bell Foundry, and a year. He puts the letters in reverse. When the inscription is done, Nigel coats the cope with graphite. Now it's time to bring the two moulds together and clamp them tightly. They lower the cope down to the core and twist it back and forth. If they don't do this, the hot liquid metal will leak out of the mould, and that will be a mess. Then they clamp the two halves together. Nigel checks that the core and the curve are centered. Now we need a runner box. It's like a funnel. We'll pour the metal through the runner box into a mold case to make our bed. The sand has to be packed really tight. They make one hole for pouring the metal in and a second hole for the air and smoke, kind of like a chimney. When the runner box is ready, Brian dries it with the blowtorch. Careful, Brian, don't burn your fingers. It's time to turn the furnace on. We've got to heat it up to 1150 degrees to melt tin and copper for our bell. 1150 degrees is really hot. It's more than 11 times hotter than hot chocolate. It's almost as hot as lava from a volcano. In that furnace, Nigel has heated new copper ingots, clean recycled metal, and broken up old bells. As the metal melts, Nigel adds more tin. He adds the final ingots, then he takes the temperature of the liquid metal. Here comes my favourite part. Nigel cleans the slag off the top. Slag is the crust on the top of the pot, kind of like skin on hot custard. It's made out of charcoal and it came out when the metal melted. Watch those sparks fly. Wow! It's all hands on deck for the pour. They pour the hot metal into a ladle. One last clean from Nigel, then here we go. Listen to that. It sounds just like your bathtub, doesn't it? See the smoke from the chimney? That's a sign that the mold is through. Yippee, they've cast our bell! It took Big Ben over 2 weeks to cool, but our bell will cool in about 2 days. Once a bell is cooled, it's broken out of the mold. The edges are rough. We'll get Ben to smooth them for us. Smoothing the edges of the bell is called skirting. Ben uses a huge lathe to skirt our bell. He brings the tool bit down to the lip of our bell and it cuts away the rough edges. If you listen, you can just about hear our bell. And finally, Ben is going to tune a bell. When a bell chimes, it does 5 different tones. That's the unique thing about the sound of a bell. Ben rings a bell in different spots, then he checks the tones. He cuts out some of the metal from the inside of our bell to adjust our tones. Then he checks again. When Ben is done, a bell is ready. And that is how you make a bell.